Oh, what the hell? Okay. All right, so we're going live. It's going to take a second. We're here with James Favel of Bear Clan Patrol Inc. He is the executive director. Um, but I don't like doing really that much introduction, so could you please introduce yourself to everybody?
Yeah, I'm James. I'm just a guy from the north end of Winnipeg here. Started this organization to help improve the lives of the community members around me. I live, work, and volunteer right here in the community that I serve.
And what is your nation?
I'm from Peguis First Nation, the Ojibwe.
Okay. And can you explain a little bit about what? So this is prior to COVID-19, but what did um, Bear Clan Patrol do before, and why did it start?
Um, we originally started back in 2010, 2009. I bought my family home. I do pretty well as a trucker and things like that, and I got comfortable in 2010. I started looking at ways to give back to my community a little bit. I got involved with the residents association in the community, Dufferin Residents Association to be specific. 2011, I was elected to the position of board chair. We were doing little things like community cleanups and uh, community feasts spring and fall, cleanup spring and fall. But there wasn't a lot we could do. We were publicly funded. In 2014, we started looking at policing, community policing models because of the things that were going on. We have a lot of homelessness, exploitation, addiction, and crime and violence in our community. So I wanted to try to address some of those issues. And so we brought in people from COP program and neighborhood watch program. Those are both administered through the state. I myself am a 4 times convicted felon. Both of those programs have a criminal record component that disqualifies anyone with a criminal record. So myself and a disproportionate amount of my community members would have been affected by that. So we had to look for a model that gave us the latitude to do our vetting and select our people our own way. And Bear Clan was the natural fit. So after there was a young girl named Tina Fontaine who was murdered in our community, 15-year-old child that was lured into uh, exploitation and then subsequently murdered. That was the last straw for me. We really needed to mobilize the community and get people involved. In our community in the north end of Winnipeg, um, exploitation was happening unchecked. There was really nothing being done about it. And I just couldn't sit back and watch. I mean, it was impacting my family directly. My daughter couldn't go to the store, couldn't come home from the bus and things like that without having to be chaperoned. It was incredible. So, again, I just wanted to do something as opposed to nothing. And this was Bear Clan was the natural choice for us, and it just took off.
Wow. What typical things would you do on a normal Bear Clan walk or
In the
patrol?
beginning, it was about disrupting the patterns of exploitation in our community. But once we got into the community, you quickly realized that there's a lot more going on, and so we became mentor on the fly, first responder, janitor, counselor. Yeah, just answering to whatever needs the community member would come to us one day, and say, I need this or I need the other thing. We'd find a way to find it for them or, get them the access to it, connecting people with resources in our community. There's plenty of resources that are available in our community, but they're not widely publicized, so they're not really aware of them, and
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the problems. I mean, when you have there's ID clinics in our community, there's places that help you get bank accounts and driver's licenses and things like that. But if the community doesn't know about them, they're going to be underutilized. So that's one of the things that we do is we're connecting people with those resources, and we're also now starting to work on primary healthcare needs with respect to people with small injuries and things like that, chronic illnesses. We're able to connect them with the proper resources through the Winnipeg Regional Health Authority.
When I had first heard of the Bear Clan Patrol, just based on some of the patrols that we're doing, how many people are typically on a patrol prior to COVID-19, and what do you normally do? Like, what happens during a patrol? For those
So
that have
yeah,
no idea.
when we first started out, patrols, we have a minimum of 5 people on a patrol at any one given time. There always has to be a woman. Women lead our patrols. Um, Prior to COVID-19, we're operating in 4 and 5 communities here in Winnipeg alone, and we're averaging between 12 and 20 people per patrol. We typically break down into smaller groups, and if we have 20 people, we'll break down into 4 groups of 5. All of those groups will be led by women, and we'll go through the community. It kind of as a we post up on the tops of of the streets. So we'll go to Selkirk, Pritchard, Manitoba, Magnus, and we'll all wait till everybody's ready, and then we all in unison head east down the streets. Every cross street, check to see if everybody's there. If not, we go and find the other groups, find out what's going on. Radios for communication. It's about being present in the community, a resource that community members can count on. We always carry bags of food, apples, oranges, things like that, first aid kits, a list of resources that are available, safe sex supplies for those in need. We carry sharps containers. We're picking up the affluent left behind by people that are addicted in our communities. We're literally the drug bags, because the contents can be harmful even if they're empty. The cooking cups that we come across, all that stuff, the syringes, used syringes, we take all that stuff up off the streets. One of the things that's really taken hold for us is the needle reclamation, the biohazardous waste. Like, that's not why we started this organization. That wasn't the original intent. But last year we picked up 145,000 used syringes. So far this year, we've already picked up 80,000 in just the first quarter, which means we're projecting about 320,000.
That's crazy
for this year.
That's crazy. How
Yeah.
dangerous how dangerous is some of these neighborhoods? Because Winnipeg has a pretty infamous rep. Whenever there's something about Winnipeg, it's always people dying or getting shot or drug deals.
Yeah, no, we had a really bad year last year for violence in our community. A record 44 homicides or something like that. I think it was a pretty rough year, But thankfully, we are viewed by our community as a positive support, a positive resource. We are never targeted by violence, not even by our gang members that are active in the communities. There's a quiet truce between us. We're feeding everybody. We're taking care of people. Even the gang members in our community will come to us for food on occasion, and we're happy to give it to them. We don't judge. We're not here to criticize or judge anyone. We're here to just support our community as best we can.
How big is the community that you're serving, approximately?
It started out as just the community of Dufferin, because we have to be invited into community to go. We don't impose ourselves on anyone. So it started in the community of Dufferin, some 890 mailboxes, and now we're serving tens of thousands of community members. Whoops.
Oh, you hit the You still there?
Sorry,
okay, you're back.
Phone call coming in.
Oh,
yeah,
popular guy.
Now we're serving tens of thousands of people just in our city alone.
Okay. What was the catalyst, I guess, for you personally to want to start up or help form the Bear Clan?
Again, the death of Tina Fontaine, the tragic way that she died, the fact that there were so many systemic failures. She was a child in care that was housed in a hotel in our downtown. She was listed as a missing person. She interacted with the Winnipeg police, with healthcare professionals, with social workers, and nobody did anything to protect her. And in the end, she ended up in our Red River, wrapped in a duvet. That just, again, for me, that was just too much.
And since then to now, how big has the Bear Clan expanded within Winnipeg? Because it started off like one neighborhood. Now, how many neighborhoods is in Winnipeg right now?
I think we're serving about a dozen neighborhoods, dozen communities just here in Winnipeg. 63 communities nationwide, including now Calgary, your community, which is fantastic, Lethbridge, and the requests keep going. We have we started out with 12 volunteers in 2014, and we likely have about 2,000 Winnipeg-based volunteers at this point.
Wow, 2,000 more eyes watching the streets.
Absolutely, and that's the other thing too. The empathy that we thrive on. We're infecting that into other community members, and like our volunteer base, not just from our community, from the entire city. We get volunteers from all over, from all walks of life: resident doctors, nurses, firefighters, police officers, doctors, lawyers. They're all coming to walk with us, and our regular community members, and it gives people a chance to experience, what it is for other people, how it works for other people, and I think shared experience is one of the best ways to really convey that message, of how we're living.
All right, and then the growth outside of Winnipeg. How big has this movement become?
Again, I'm shocked. Since 2016, we were just in Winnipeg. To see it spread across the nation from Montreal all the way to Campbell River, BC. Hamoka First Nation is trying to pick up the model out there. Port Alberni, St. Catharines doing really well. You guys there in Calgary again. We got several chapters in Manitoba here, northern Manitoba, OCN, the Paw. Sioux Valley has a chapter. Brandon, Selkirk, Portage la Prairie. Ontario, we have about 11 chapters in different states of readiness. It's incredible.
For one of the questions that keeps popping up when we do bear clan patrol here is what like the what if scenarios. What if you come across somebody that's dying, or what if you come across this? What do you guys do? And then usually the follow up is like, have you seen it? Like, have you seen these people?
Mm-hmm. So and so we do regularly come across people that are in crisis, and we have artificial external defibrillators. We have naloxone kits. I've administered naloxone twice myself to save lives. We've had we come across people that have been stabbed and shot, and we've kept them alive until first responders to come. And then again, there's also the searches we've done. Sadly, we've been part of many searches that didn't end so well. We've recovered several bodies from our rivers. Our Fort Francis group recovered a body of a woman who went missing in Wabigoon. In Ontario there. And we've been part of a lot of really sad outcomes for the families involved. And we're still working with those families. Christine Wood, Cooper Nemeth, we're still working with those families, and I'm happy to be there as a support for those families.
It is an old job that a lot of our communities have. It has gone to sleep. I don't want to say forgotten, but I want to say like it's really kind of gone to sleep.
Well, and absolutely, and then that's exactly the point, right? We're trying to reignite that village fire where we used to look out for one another. We used to be there and take care of one another, and we need to get that back. And so that's what we're trying to do.
How has COVID-19 changed what you're doing?
Oh, I hate that word. COVID-19.
You just want to smudge every time you hear it?
Absolutely. In fact, that's one of the things we're trying to do right now is we're going to be putting up a live stream of a smudge happening, like just a smudge bowl, and we're going to invite people to check in. We're going to put this out globally and ask for everybody to check in and do a global smudge because, COVID-19 has really changed the way we're doing things right now. We not on like our patrols are basically halted except for a small patrol group that's going out in mobile vehicles, looking for the sharps and looking for the homeless people. Right now, we have upwards of 1,200 homeless people in Winnipeg that don't have hardly any places to go, hardly any resources to attach themselves to. I went driving last night at like 11:30, and there's a bus shack on Portage Avenue right in front of one of the big malls, and it's kind of heated. Mm-hmm. There was like 15 people inside of that, and that's their residence for the night. And it's sad, you go by our legislative building, and they have thousands of dollars worth of Christmas lights and decorative lights out, and just down the street, there's 15 people in a homeless shelter or in a bus shack sheltering for the night. We need to adjust our priorities. We really need to sort that out. The fact that we have that many people with no place to be and no resources, that is scary and sad.
There's other cities. Calgary has done, I think, one hotel so far has decided to house some homeless people. They had this great initiative where they're going to start opening up hotels for a lot of our homeless folks to go into and to try to stop or flatten the curve. And I know some other cities have done that. Is that something that Winnipeg has looked into? Opening hotels?
I think they've looked into it, but it's going to be tough to get buy-in from that. We have a lot of people that are living feral, and they don't want to be subjected, to that kind of control, and they don't want to be isolated in that way. They have their network of friends that they want to be with and see and things like that, and family, and so it's a very difficult time, especially for our people that are living rough on the street.
And with your patrols that are going, the mobile patrols that are going out, what do you have? What kind of PPE? How do you protect them?
Well, they've got masks, they've got gloves, they're respecting the social distancing, guidelines, and we're bringing out apples and oranges, water, milk when we have it, and we're taking 100 sandwiches out when we go every night.
Wow, I know that in town we kind of stopped our patrols here, and somebody who's really picked it up is Yvonne. She's one of you met her. She's like your biggest fan. She's been putting care packages together for elders. And I just want to give a big shout out to Yvonne here, and she's been driving them. Her and her partner Brianna been getting the
Yeah,
gear.
I was talking to her yesterday.
Yeah, they get all the stuff, they package it up, and then they take it out.
Yep.
And it's great that she's doing that. I find myself in a high risk category with this COVID-19. I have
young baby at home.
I have a liver issue. I have asthma, and it sucks because what Yvonne's doing, I really want to be a part of that. But the other part is like, it's just one little mistake, and then that's it.
And that could be the end. Yeah, no, and so that's another thing. We've been doing food distribution for the last like 3 years. Last year, when we got our dedicated space, our what we call our Bear Clan Den, we started doing the food distribution right out of there. We must have served about 40,000 people all of last year. Recently, our numbers have shot up. In January, February, we were serving about 250 people a day. Since COVID started, we've been serving about 300 people a day. 350 people even.
Yeah.
And then because of the social distancing, we have them lining up like it's a whole city block that they're occupying, and it's a lot of people to gather in one place. So we're trying to help engage with the elders, the shut-ins, and so we've also started a food hamper program.
Yeah.
Yesterday actually was the first day for it. We had planned to get 240 hampers out, but logistically it's quite difficult, especially when we only had one vehicle out.
Yeah.
We got 100 hampers out. We've got a list of names, probably 150 names so far, and it's growing. And we're just trying to address as many of the needs as we can. The food donations are coming in. One of the reasons why my phone cut out a few moments ago is because Eddie Cantor from Cantor's Grocery called and he wants to talk to me as soon as I get off the phone with you.
Wow, that's amazing. So you're still doing the good work. If you keep the people home and you're dropping the stuff off at their place, you're essentially helping to flatten the curve.
Absolutely. Yes.
And so what you're needing is just like donate. What do you need to make that more of a success?
Well, we got some grant money, which is great. So we're getting about $7,000 worth of hamper items every week, and we're building the hampers with that. We're also getting supplemental donations. Freshco comes to the table now. Cantors, we've got Sobeys. All these different stores are adding to our pile, and so we're going to be distributing all of that, and it's really working well. What we're short of is drivers.
So if there's people in Winnipeg right now that wanted to come volunteer and they had a vehicle, what do they need to know to want to come help out?
Basically, they need to just get in touch with me, and we'll coordinate. So yesterday was our first attempt at this. Things went well, but again, we were overwhelmed. We needed more drivers. We did get 100 hampers out still, which is significant, and we fed a big bunch of other people. So for next week, we're trying to coordinate it so it's a little bit better when I have the hampers ready to go on Wednesday, as opposed to making them and then getting them out the door at the same time, because it's very time consuming and laborious. Like my volunteers, my staff that are putting these things together, they're working hard. They're working long days, bending and stooping and putting these things together. And yeah, I could see the fatigue in their face at the end of the day. Yesterday, I was up at 8 o'clock in the morning out there helping out and working around, and we were going until like 7 o'clock at night.
So I just want to do this as well. I want to say a big shout out to you and your volunteers, because that's a lot of work. And at the end of the day, being so tired, but like it makes such a gigantic impact. And when we did our walk here, we came across this guy and we gave him like we were just finishing up our patrol here in Calgary, and there was this dude there, and we were talking. It was like our last water bottle, our last granola bar, and he said, "You're not just giving food, you're giving hope, you're giving life." Yeah. And think about that. It's 100 people potentially yesterday that you stopped to spread the curve with them. Yeah. That you kept healthy, that your volunteers kept healthy, and it's an amazing amount of work that you guys are doing.
Yeah, and a lot of risk on the part of my volunteers. It's but there's these people that come and participate are selfless, caring human beings that want to see better for fellow community members, and they're willing to sacrifice and be there and work hard. I really commend them for that.
That's amazing. What would you say right now is your overall with what you're doing? What would you say is your biggest challenges?
Right now, just being able to keep up with the need. Again, it's always been about trying to answer to the community's needs. The needs are great right now, and the resources are thin. We are getting supports that we need to get things in place, but with, we're only allowed to have 5 people in the building at any given time. So it's hard to get enough volunteers to do the work that needs to be done. This COVID-19 is really scary. And in the beginning, I'll have to admit that I didn't take it all that seriously because I wasn't really up on the numbers and the history of things. I learned some stuff just the other day that really shocked me when you think about Ebola and the impact that it had in West Africa in between 2014 and 2016. It took 11,000 lives.
Mm-hmm.
COVID-19 in the States has taken over 10,000 lives already in 3 months.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to put it into perspective, you know what I mean?
And it hasn't stopped. That's the thing.
And it hasn't stopped. And Italy, over 7,000 people there. The COVID-19 has already taken more lives than Ebola ever did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're nowhere near the end of it yet.
We're still in the exponential growth in Canada. They're still on the exponential growth in the United States. Yes. They still might be on the exponential growth in Italy, even though some deaths have kind of stopped. They still might have a chance of that growth again.
Yes. It's scary. It's a serious incident. And we need to work really hard, all of us together, to keep this down. That means staying home. If that means avoiding the things that you normally do, especially this long weekend here, people are going to be wanting to celebrate and do the family things. Don't stay home. Do the right thing. Take care of the people that are close to you. That's the best you can do right now.
I was just going to ask you this because you have the role of responsibility for some of your members. There are people on our reses that look at some of the restrictions as like
interference.
But just not fair. So stuff like curfew, telling people not to go visit their families, social distancing, having no wakes or funerals right now. These are preventative measures. Do you think, if you look at a community Fort Chip, do you think that would be an overreaction from the leaders?
Again, in the beginning, I really was kind of on that side, right? I didn't take it as seriously as I think I should have. I didn't know the impact it was having. The flu kills millions of people worldwide every year. That this is nothing, but no, this is definitely something. The way that it kills, the amount of people it infects, it's really a serious condition that needs to be addressed. All these measures that are being put in place, again, in the beginning, I was like, no, I don't think that's appropriate. It's an overreach and things like that by the government. We need to adhere to these guidelines. We need to focus on eradicating this and flattening the curve as best we can. This is a very serious illness.
You're on the front lines right now. You're helping to provide food. You're helping to organize. You're helping to do organized patrols. Are you worried at all about yourself getting sick?
I'm too stupid for that. I just go, man. I put my head down and just keep going.
Just keep going. What is your biggest fear if you do get sick?
I don't fear that. I don't worry about those kinds of things. I'm more concerned about how it's impacting my community. I don't have time to think about myself. One of the things that I'm trying to do, though, is I'm trying to be there frontline with my volunteers, with my staff, because I don't want anybody to say that I asked them to do something I wasn't prepared to do myself.
Gotcha.
So I'm there. I'm in the building. I'm on the street. I'm trying to be part of it.
Is there anything for people that are watching right now? Is there anything that you guys would need? Is there like funds? Is there like money for PPE? What is it? You guys need anything?
Again, we've got a lot of people that have stepped up, coming to the table, grant money. Manitoba Métis Federation stepped up yesterday and gave us a big bunch of money and resources. They're offering us, they're subsidizing a couple of our volunteers, or like staff wages and things like that. So we're getting the things that we need. Keep us in your hearts, keep us in your prayers. That's what we need right now. Yeah. And if you want to make a donation, we have a Canada Helps funding platform. You go to Canada Helps, look up Bear Clan Patrol, and you can make a donation and get a tax receipt. That's something that you can do remotely from home. But otherwise, the only thing I'd ask is that people just stay home, stay safe, follow the guidelines, do the right thing, and protect yourselves for now. We'll still be here. If you want to donate clothes and food later, we'll still be here. Just take care of yourselves for
now. There's I get a bunch of questions when we're talking. What would you say when this is all said and done? What is the biggest lesson you're going to take from this?
I guess the biggest lesson is the way the community responds to these crises. The fact that we still have volunteers that are calling every day and saying, "How can I help? What can I do?" The fact that the community is reaching out to us and saying, "How can you help me?" We have become an essential service here in our community, and I think that's remarkable when you consider. In 2014, we were 12 people sitting around a boardroom table trying to develop a mandate, and now we have one. And I think the way the community is responding to us, both in the need perspective, both in the giving perspective, we've become something that is recognized and credible, and people are reaching out, to support and to ask for help, and that's the best thing.
Amazing. So,
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to touch on, you recently came out here to Calgary. You came on one of our Bear Clan patrols. It was like our biggest walk. I think we had the most amount of volunteers.
23.
It was pretty cool. But
Yeah.
what else were you out here for? I want to say it's like you just came out to hang out with us, which is super cool. But there was another reason why you came out here. What was that?
I was being considered for candidacy with the Ashoka Fellowship, which is a global group of about 3,500 social entrepreneurs, and I was being considered for membership back in March. I just found out yesterday that I was accepted. I am now an Ashoka Fellow. Yeah,
Awesome.
second on the prairies.
What does that mean exactly?
I'm still trying to figure that out. So yeah, we're again social entrepreneurs that are trying to build healthier communities. So I'm now in a network where people are doing these things globally, and it's an opportunity for me to learn from these other people that are doing amazing things, and to share with them the things that we're doing. I was part of a 4-person. There was 4 of us, 4 candidates, and I really hope that it wasn't an either or circumstance, because every one of those people in that room with me were just as well qualified, if not more well qualified than I am for membership to this organization, and I hope they all got inducted.
Amazing. That's so cool. Congratulations. It's really cool. It sounds like there's a lot on your plate, and it sounds like it's a lot of responsibility that you have throughout the day. And those moments of your own personal time, what are things that you do to help keep sane? Because we have a lot of people watching, and there's a lot of like things that they want to do or things that they're just freaked out about. What do you do to help keep yourself sane?
Well, there's people that are staying at home and self-isolating and things like that. I don't have that luxury. Every day is Monday for me. If I'm awake, I'm working. It doesn't matter. And so basically my routine hasn't really changed because I've got so much to coordinate all the time. I don't have the meetings right now. I don't have the travel right now, and I don't have the presentations that I normally do. But instead, I'm frontline. I'm there picking up as soon as I get off the phone with you, I have to get back to the grocery store, see what he wants to talk about. I have to go to Winnipeg Harvest, pick up a couple pallets of produce, bring it back to the den. Our food program opens at 1:30 this afternoon. Mm-hmm. So I've got a full day ahead of me yet.
All right, I don't want to keep.
That's really what keeps me sane, is just being able to continue and do the things that I love to do.
I don't want to keep too much more of your time because I know you are super busy. Is there any messages you want to give to people out there?
Again, this is a very serious time for all of us, and it's painful for everyone. I see the businesses around Winnipeg are all closing down. That there's going to be businesses go bankrupt. There's going to be people that are going to lose, people that are going to suffer. Care for one another. Share with your neighbor. Be mindful of the needs of others. Be mindful of your own health and safety. Love your family, and just do the right thing. Adhere to those guidelines. Care for your family. And again, I want to thank my volunteers and staff that are out there every day supporting the work that's being done, because this does not happen by the actions of one person. This is a group effort, a community effort, and we need all those warm hearts and souls out there working and doing the good things that are to continue this work.
Amazing. The last thing I'm going to ask you, last question.
Thank you, Gitz, for your support as well.
You're my big brother, man. I love you. Last question I want to end this off. When this is all said and done, okay, what is the first thing you're going to do? First thing you're looking forward to doing when this is all said and done?
Go out on a patrol.
That's the best answer I've gotten so far. I can't wait to go back on our patrols here in Calgary.
Yeah,
I just want to say thank you. Much love. I always conclude this with, we are all in isolation, but we're all in this together.
Yes, sir.
So I'll talk to you soon. I'll check in with you and maybe in about a week or so.
Right on, man.
Stay safe.
You too.
Bye.
Peace.